Alrighty, good morning. Hey Carlos, how you doing? Good morning. Hey Ju Marinas, good to see you. Hey Michael Dollar, good to see you. Very nice. Thanks for joining me again. I guess you guys can see me okay, hear me alright. Hey Jimmy, we had a short break from last. Well, we didn't have a session yesterday because markets were absolutely quiet, sitting right across. It's only started moving slightly today, so we'll look forward to more setups for today. Looking forward to it. How have you guys been? Hope you've been trading well or possibly not trading at all. We do have the CAD CPI later tonight and then the RBNZ tomorrow, so we'll talk more about that shortly. If you're new to the session, do remember to drop a message and say hi. Let me know where are you joining us from. I see a new name, Elias Goes Jim. How are you doing? Hi, thanks for joining us. Hey Nav, good morning. How are you doing? Hey Linley, good to see you again. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Yes, so okay, if you're new to the session, do drop a message, say hi, let me know where you're joining us from. For all the regulars, a big welcome back again. If you have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat and let me know. And you can help me out massively by remembering to click on that like and subscribe button, that thumbs up button. Supposedly, through the algorithm, does help to get more people onto the session. And the link for the Discord channel is there up the top. If you haven't already, do make sure you join us on Discord. And if you do join us on Discord, or when you do join us on Discord, please remember to verify. Get to that verification page, verify so that you unlock all the other channels as well. Okay? I'm doing fantastic, Elias. Thanks for that. Hey Erwin, it has been a while. Good to have you back as well, and good to be back. It's last stream was on Friday. Okay, so with all that, a quick disclaimer: any information contained on this webinar should not be construed as advice and is presented as education material only. Please do your own due diligence, as the contents of this webinar are not intended to be a recommendation to a financial product, as your objectives, financial situation and needs has not been considered, and you should consider its appropriateness to your circumstances. All right, and yes, good morning. Hi Diana, hope you're well. Now take that away. Yes, Lindy, I remember that you'll be in Singapore, so do drop me a message. I think I saw your message on Discord. I can't remember whether it might have totally slipped, or I might have typed out something but just forgot to reply. Yes, again, please send me that message on Discord. I remember seeing your message, and I just right now cannot remember whether I replied, but send me that message. We'll arrange for a catch-up. I'd love to catch up. Okay, now let me see. Okay, what has happened since the last time we spoke? A whole bunch of nothing, and this is why we didn't do a session. This is why we didn't do a session on yesterday, because yesterday we did have the Swiss, the French, the Germans, and the Canadians all on a holiday. Markets pretty much sat right across and didn't do anything. Show you the dollar index. This is where we were on Friday during our stream, and this is where we are right now. It's barely moved. It shot up slightly. It tested that 38.2 level, came back down, tested that 38.2 level again from the short-term move. In fact, if it took that, it probably tested the 50% level, right, from the whole move. Take that away. And then bounced around, pushed up slightly at this point at 9 a.m. when I came into the office today. I was looking at that and I thought, hey, dollar looks like it's testing a little bit higher. Main thing was that trend line that's holding it back slightly together with that 38.2 level. So right now, pushing back down, keeping within this very tight range, relatively tight range on the dollar index, right? And if I scroll through all the other pairs, it didn't do too much at all. We'll look at that shortly. That was Monday, yesterday. Go further back to Friday last week, again, not that much. All our setups were there, was preparing but didn't trigger. Through to today, we did have the monetary policy meeting minutes early this morning for the Aussies. Didn't change too much. President Lagarde speaking at 4 from the ECB. It is about, well, at the Frankfurt School of Finance. I don't think she's going to say too much at the Frankfurt School of Finance in terms of policy. Not expecting a big surprise here, but we do have the CPI for the Canadians at 8:30 p.m. tonight, where on the CPI month to month for the Canadians, we are looking at a slight slowdown from 0.6 to 0.5%. Median CPI, another slowdown, a slight slowdown in growth from 2.8 to 2.7, while trimmed CPI from 3.1 to 2.9. It does look like, right, if I show you that we are on a slightly more on a trajectory towards a slowdown on CPI growth for the Canadians, but you can see that it's likely to go from, this was from 3.2 to 3.1 in April. It went from 3.4 to 3.2 in March. This time from 3.1 expected to get to 2.9. Not huge drops, right? Not huge drops expected. And because of that, it looks like we might see some weakness on the Canadian based on the data, but I don't think it's going to be a massive move. I don't think it'll be a massive move. If I showed you on the 16th of April for the Canadians, for the CAD, for the loonie, 16th of April, where we were there, right about that point, right, 16th of April, we did see it go up from, let me just show you that, from 1.3776, went up about 60 something pips, not a 100 pip move, so it moved to the upside and then it sat right across before coming back down again. So we are likely to see some weakness on the Canadian dollar, on the loonie, pushing to the upside, but I don't think it'll be massive. It is sitting at, oops, what did I just do? Move that back. Okay, it is sitting right at this point now. I'll tell you more about that shortly. Right, so we do have the Canadian CPI to be released. We have a whole bunch of FOMC members speaking. This will, most likely bring about increased volatility, especially on the dollar index, if they mention or if they start commenting about, most likely they'll be talking about how rates are currently, or how inflation is currently. They'll probably talk about how it's getting to the targets, but it's probably a little bit too early to talk about, to implement a rate cut decision. That's why I think the members are going to speak about, bring about increased volatility, but not big changes in direction. Okay, and then through to tomorrow at 10 a.m. GMT +8, we have the RBNZ with their interest rate decision. Official cash rate currently at 5.5%. Most likely going to hold, or almost for sure going to hold at 5.5. The question the market is wondering is, when are they going to cut rates? It seems a little bit too early. I do think that it's going to be a little bit of a possible upside on the RBNZ with if they do keep rates on hold. And then at 2 p.m. tomorrow, we have the UK with their CPI number year on year, looking to go from a 3.2 to a 2.1. So from 3.2 to 2.1 is getting to that target range of between 2 to 3%. That's going to drive additional commentary about a rate cut decision to come from the Bank of England if it does get to that point. Quite a significant drop here, so we're looking forward to that. Might see if it does get from 3.2 to 2.1, we're looking at a possible quite significant weakness on the pound dollar, because that's going to spur further rate cut decisions or spur further the timeline to the rate cut decision. If they cut rates before the US, that's going to bring some weakness onto the pound dollar. Okay, why I'm telling you in a bit more details about this is because it is a public holiday tomorrow in Singapore, so there is no live stream tomorrow. I will not be streaming live tomorrow, but I will cover this part for today as well. Okay, so I rambled on for a couple of minutes there. If it's all good, put into the chat and let me know. I see Dinah's question about the CAD yen. Yes, we can do the CAD yen. It ties in with our views on the CAD news tonight. Hey PM, how are you doing? Good morning. Hey Machaku, how are you doing? Good morning. Hey Lingopedia, good to see you. All right. So, and Augusto, how are you doing? Good afternoon. Right, now with all that said about the CPI for the Canadians, members from FOMC speaking later tonight, the RBNZ with their rate decision, and the UK with their CPI released tomorrow. Let's look at the charts. Now looking at the dollar index, I like what I'm seeing. In the sense that, I'll take away these lines. Well, okay, explaining these lines is what we spoke about on Friday, saying it's going to come down, look for that retrace, completion of the retrace for the downside. What happened was while it did retrace higher than we expected, it did not spike down as set in that consolidation. So we take all that away, did not turn down. Right, take that away and that. But what I'm looking at here is that I like how that trend line, I'll zoom out a bit to show you this trend line here. Since, I don't need that, take that away. Since the 1st of May, it started there, it bounced up, it tested on the 9th of May, it traded slightly lower, tried and tested this trend line again on the 14th of May, and then now very recently came very close to the trend line again on the 21st of May, right? So it's testing that point. It looks like it's trying to break to the downside. It looks like we're going to break to the downside. No big news for the US today, right? No big news for the US today, but it also does seem like it's continuing with that downtrend. Yeah, it's continuing on with that downtrend. So looking at it possibly pushing lower, what needs to happen first would be for it to break below 104.40. Right, needs to get below 104.40 before we could see it trade down to that 104 level. So I am looking at weakness on the dollar. Today is the 21st of May. Dollar index, oh well, we have it there. Needs to break 104.40. Could trade down to 104 round number support. Okay, so it's going to sit there. That trend line going to push it down. I don't think it's going to do that. Break 104.40 to trade lower down to that 104 round number support level. That makes sense. Okay, so we're looking at weakness on the dollar. All right, well, Yellen speaking. Also, well, President Lagarde and Secretary Yellen meeting up at the Frankfurt School of Finance, having a chat. But I still don't think it's going to do too much. I think that the members speaking could bring about some volatility. Speaking at economic outlook and monetary policy online event. Investing, I don't think that one's going to do too much. Remember, Waller is going to be someone to watch out for. Remember, Williams not so much. Bostic is also someone to watch out for. Financial markets conference. Okay. I think that is likely to come down, test, bounce. So if I could draw it out, it would come down something like that, and then zigzag down this way. Okay. Main thing is it needs to stay below this trend line. Now, with that in mind, then we're looking at the Kiwi, right? I would have actually loved to see when it was coming down, when it was at this point, at 10, when I was pushing lower, I was actually quite keen on it to trade lower, right? Because I wanted it to come down to that support, which would have been a great place to do that. All right, stop loss 20 pips, take profit. First one will be up to 50, and then we could go higher to the upside. So that was my initial thought, but it didn't go lower. That trade did not trigger. Take that away. Take that away. That's broken. So we can take 23 away, but 38 is holding. I would like to have seen it test. I would like to have seen that happen, but given that now it's pushing back up, I would, let me see, okay, with the rate decision tomorrow, right? With the rate decision tomorrow, what we're possibly looking for is that high. This high from March and Feb and March. I'm looking for a retest of that point. So I'm looking at a possible, very similar to what we spoke about on Friday, 6145, stop loss 20, take profit 70 to the upside. Okay, so 6145, 20 to 70 to the upside, and this is not my close at this point. This is also with the RBNZ rate decision tomorrow. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Buy 6145, 20 pips stop loss, 70 pip take profit to the upside with the RBNZ rate decision, and also because it looks like it's going to, if it breaks above that too high, that double top, right, breaking through that double top and pushing higher. Yep, so I'll wait for that. Then onto the Aussie, right, that pushed up to the top, almost the equal top, and then retraced back down. Anyone got onto the Aussie, let me know. I like this that is bounced off the support. We don't need that. Take that away. Hey Angel Case, how you doing? I like this resistance turned support level, bouncing off But at this point, if you look to buy it up, stop loss 20, take profit, yeah, 40 here. Actually, that might look reasonable. If you looked at this above, yeah, if it breaks past this point from the start of today, I would say that you would have 6675, stop loss 25, take profit, I would go to 50, but then you could also consider a close at about that point, 6710. Okay. So you could look for that. I'm looking for this as a bounce off back to the upside, especially with that dollar weakness anticipated. So 6675, 25 to 50 to the upside. Oops, whoa, wait a minute. Okay, take all of that away. We'll be looking to buy at 0.6675, stop loss 25, take profit 50 to the upside. And I like that especially because it's bounced off these points, right? And if it bounced off, we have seen that push to the upside. And there is a bit of space. Bollinger looks reasonable. I think that's quite a good setup, especially if that continues to push lower. Then on to the USD, we've done a lot of scribbles on this. Let me take away some of the scribbles first. This was an order, I set this order on Friday, right after our session, right? I think about that point, I saw it pushing up and I had my order. I just, tried, put a little bit of a punt and put an order there, and it sat there and didn't do anything. As it pushed down, I just canceled that order. So did not trigger. Did not trigger at that point. It took all the way through to Monday night before it would have triggered to push to the upside. Fortunately, I didn't hold on and waited for that, but it did push up, now coming right back down again. So take all of that away for now. That did not trigger as well. Very far away for that. Take that, we were anticipating it to consolidate in this range. It did that. Now if you look at this, from the bottom here all the way to the top, what you have to wait for here is anticipating that dollar weakness to push the yen down, right? Dollar weakness to drag the US yen down. Wouldn't do anything unless it breaks below this point, this 155.90 level, that 23.6 retracement level. If it breaks that, then looking at some of this, you might have a bit of a hesitation at 155.40, but we could possibly look at 154.75 to the downside. Okay, if we see that dollar continue to push lower. So that's the prerequisite. One of the prerequisites, I would be looking at 155.75. Stop loss 30 pips. I'll give it a bit of space. I'll say 30. Take profit. I'll go down to 100 to the downside. Okay, so that's what I would be looking for on the US yen, with a possible hesitation at about the 1:1. There is a bit of a hesitation, but we could go down to 1:3 to the downside. Okay, so on the US yen, I'm looking at selling 155.75. US yen, we're looking to sell on dollar weakness 155.75. Stop loss, we're looking at, okay, 30. Take profit, we're looking at 100. We're looking at a hesitation at 155.30, about 155.30. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Sit there, push lower. I like how there is a bit of an equal high there. So a bit of a double, not really a double top, but looking for the test and reject to the downside. Okay. Then on to the pound dollar. All right, we were looking for it to break that point to push down. Did not happen. Take that away. So did not trigger. What we're looking at now is a continuation of that pushing higher, breaking above that 61.8 resistance that has held, right? That has held. And I want to consider that. Right, so sitting that consolidation, that's a resistance turned support, although I would say that it's still within the range. And let me see, where's 61? No, a bit too far. Take that one away. Let me see. Take that away for now. Okay, so what we're looking at here, we don't need that. Oh wait, let me see. No, we don't need that. Okay. This is the point, that's the point, that's reasonable. I think 50 will be reasonable here as well. There's a bit of an interim support level at 50%. Okay. Now, what I'm looking at in this case would be that, right? So what this means is that anticipating, yes, dollar index could push to the downside or sit there pushing a bit. What I'm looking at is maybe the pound dollar might sit in this area for a little bit, bearing in mind that markets are possibly waiting to see what is coming out here tomorrow at 2 p.m. GMT plus 8 with the CPI number for the UK. If it does go from 3.2 to a 2.1, it might sit there and push up a little bit, but what I'm looking for is a drop to the downside. Right, it's a drop to the downside. If you look at this is for tomorrow. When it went from a 3.4 to a 3.2, slightly above the forecast on the 17th of April. Where are we? Here? Nope. On the 17th of April, it did that. It bounced up because it's slightly higher than the forecasted. When it did a fall to a 3.4 on the 20th of March, I think that's a better comparison. There we go. On the 20th of March, that, no, that one. Right, we did see it spike around and then push slightly to the downside, still above its target range. So what I'm anticipating here is if at this point the pound dollar sits around this consolidation, all right, or pushes up slightly, what I'll be looking for with the CPI in mind for tomorrow is that if it does come down to break that support 1.2695, just below 1.2695, stop loss would be about 20 pips. Take profit, you have 45 to the downside. And if it breaks this point, then we could see it go even further down towards the 1.2580 level. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking for. 1.2695 pound dollar. It's going to continue up before looking for it. Okay, so this is on CPI release. We're looking to sell. So nothing now. Even if it does come down now, don't get into it because we have the CPI tomorrow. I'm looking for it to possibly push up. Then it starts coming back down, breaking that support level on the CPI release. We'll look to sell at 1.2695, 20 to 45. 1.2695. Stop loss 20, take profit 45 to the downside. And actually, now typing it up, it also shows that it breaks that round number of 1.27 and it would have tested that 61.8 and then come back down again. So that's what I'll be looking for on the pound dollar. Does that make sense for everyone? Put it into the chat. Let me know if I've completely lost you guys or it's all good. Let me know, let me know. Let's see. Okay, and then with that, looking at the euro. Now it's been, thanks for that, Diana. It's been sitting right across. I was hoping, same thing, at that 10 o'clock period. You know, I've been sitting here Friday, didn't do any trades. Monday, I absolutely just looked at the markets and I didn't want to do a live stream because I didn't have anything to talk about. So it's been quiet. I haven't had anyone to talk to, not you guys to talk to, and I haven't had any trades. At 10 o'clock, we started looking at everything, looking like a possibility. It sat there, it broke that level, it's breaking that level. At 10 o'clock, I thought, great. If the dollar does push up, if the dollar at 10 here does push up and break that trend line to the upside, I could sell the euro down. Came right to that point and didn't break. Right? And didn't break. So I'll take that away. That didn't trigger. Diana has been waiting to break that resistance for a long time, but it didn't. Yes, the euro has been sitting right across. It's not even at 38, it's just been bouncing around at this point. Right? I will even take this whole, I'll take that away for now. I would revise this and look at that holding prices up. Right, like that. So what we're looking at here is if the dollar does continue to weaken, it could push it higher. I was going to say that I'm a bit turned off on selling the euro down, anticipating that it could push higher. Let me see. So, but I think that there is that opportunity, 1.08 0.95, stop loss 30, take profit 75. If it pushes up and break above that point, I want to give it a bit of space. I want to see it break that. Daily time frame dynasty shows good uptrend. Yeah, I do agree. I agree with that entirely. Yeah, so I was thinking whether there was a bit of a push back down. I don't see that anymore with that higher low pushing higher, pushing up. I kind of like that a bit more. And if the euro does push up like that, if this plays out pushing up, then we're going to see quite significant downside on the dollar index. I would go a little bit higher. I would go to 1.09, 35 to 70. I'll keep that, okay? So you look for that, and on the euro, and bear in mind we're looking at very bearish view of the dollar now, just as a whole. So we want to try and balance that up at some point. Consider the alternate scenario sometimes. Euro, I'm looking to buy at 1.09, stop loss 35, take profit 70 to the upside. Dino wait for a break, retest, and re-entry. Yeah, I mean, we've got it there as a general. What I feel is that it will probably do that, and then that way. Yeah, something like that. I don't think it will break up, or it might break up and then test and push back up again. So either like that or like that, but I'm looking at something like that. Okay. Augusto, yes, we can look at the euro pound as well. In fact, given that we've looked at the pound trying to push up, consolidating, pushing up slightly with the CPI possibly pushing it back down, the euro possibly going to consolidate with a bit of an upside move. Then looking at the euro pound, I had it, okay, euro pound here. All right, we had that, which took a long time to play out and finally come all the way down. All right, but take that away. It's come down to this point. We don't need this. We have a level here right across. That's a good strong support. At this point, that's a good resistance again. Euro pushing up is going to see a bounce. Pound possibly for tomorrow could push down, which could see a bounce as well. So what you possibly not do anything now, but what you want to look for is that it could do that. All right, test. So same thing that what it's been doing over the last many times is that look for it to test and reject 8530. You could be looking at 8540, 20, very generous stop loss, take profit 40 back up, and then if it goes to this level, you bring this to break even and you drag this further up to even almost 80 pips to the upside and try and ride it to the upside. Okay, so that's my view for the euro pound. Pound CHF, we can do that, and CAD CPI being, we'll look at that once we look at the CAD. Okay, now yeah, that's going to be interesting on the euro pound. US Swiss franc, we were sitting there. I didn't sit there, but we were anticipating for it to test and reject. It tested, rejected almost, didn't trigger that trade, take that away. Now pushing up, anticipating that dollar weakness could drag it back down, needs to break 23.6, back down. I like that. So what I'm looking at here would be about 908, I think this is very similar, 9080, 20 to 40 to the downside. 908, 90, why is it not doing that? Okay, 9080, 20 to 40 to the downside first off. Okay, could go further lower as well, but we might stop right there. Good, Diana agrees with the euro pound, super. So now again, pound, and this is all dependent, the main thing is this is all dependent on the CPI news for tomorrow. Push up now, can come back down. Like that case, US Swiss franc could push down now. With that, then on the pound Swizzy, it's very high up, where we saw it in October last year. It's at that level, and from that point it's a massive retrace or correction back down. That's on the H4 time frame. So looking at it from this point, pound weakness could drag this back down. Swiss franc, dollar Swiss could drag it back down. I would say based on the technicals, yes, you would be. I mean, all these are all done and dusted. Take that all away. All right. You'd be looking at firstly that point as a bit of a support. You'd be looking at that up. 2361.8 would make sense here as well. So you want to see it test, possibly sit there, or test and reject to sell down. You would be looking at 1.1560, stop loss 25, take profit 50, 5 to the downside, and then that major correction back down, you could ride it all the way down. That's what I would think for the pound Swizzy. But the first move could be there with the CPI news tomorrow. Okay, then now with that, we look at the US CAD. Right, we have that whole triangle, we had that upside downside potential. With an upside and downside potential and still nothing triggered, that was a little bit disappointing. Take that away. Now with that, the counter trend and the trend following didn't result in much. Now if we looked at 38.2, it's still there. Those are still holding. In fact, we don't even need those trend lines. What I would be quite... Okay. 23.6 is broken. Right? So we don't need that. Trend line is there, but it's not the strongest. what I would be thinking is that with the CPI for the CAD tonight, which might bring about some weakness on the CAD, but now dollar index dragging lower, right? Dollar index dragging lower could bring the US CAD down, but you're looking for that push back up. So what you could be looking for would be 1.3620, no, 1.3625, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the upside. You want to see it come down, test the support, and bounce on the CAD news to push up, right? So US CAD, we're looking for a bounce test and reject support. We're looking to buy at 1.3625, 20 to 60. 1.3625, stop loss 20, take profit 60 to the upside. No, thank you, Diana. As much as you guys are looking to align with my analysis, I love it when my analysis aligns with yours as well. Okay, then we look at so that's the view for the US CAD. Dollar index pushing lower is going to drag this slightly lower. Then we're looking for that to push up. Okay, then now thinking about the pound CAD. I don't even have it. Do I? Yes, I do. Pound CAD. It's going to push up tonight because CAD weakness is going to push this up. You trade it up or you look for it to come up towards this point. That's a very high point right now. So that's my resistance. We're betting a lot. What I'm wary of is that we're betting, guessing, gambling a lot on the big pound move to the downside with the CPI. So that's something to be very careful of as well. But what you would be thinking of here would be that it could push up before a possible move back down. Why I think that it could push up? Well, pound is now still pushing to the upside, so it's going to drag the pound CAD up. Dollar index dragging or holding it there. CAD weakness, any CAD weakness tonight could still drag the pound CAD higher, so that's going to trade up. But you're looking for that tomorrow if we do see more significant correction to the downside on the pound, especially to drag this back down. 1.7340, stop loss 20, take profit 60, 70 to the downside. All right, yeah. I don't know where is the turning point yet, so I wouldn't do my fib, but we're looking at that. Ignoring all the other lines first. Okay, that's the view for the pound CAD. I know I have one more that I've missed out on somewhere. CAD yen. Okay, so CAD looking for a bit of a push down before a bounce. CAD yen. I don't know why I have no lines here. Got a chart but no lines. Now looking at this resistance, support down here, fib level from here up. Put in the levels. That's at this point here. So that's quite straightforward. You wouldn't do anything yet. Yes, we know that the US yen, we are looking for that push. In fact, it's very similar pattern to on the US yen and the CAD yen, right? Almost identical. So you want to see it break this point, 23.6 level, to trade down to that 61.8. We should be about there. In between, I think that's a bit too near. That might be an interesting level. I think that it would be reasonable to look for those points. CAD weakness will drag this down later, could drag this down later as well. So yes, you would be looking at 1.114.25, stop loss no more than 20, take profit about 60 to the downside. That's CAD yen. Super. On CAD weakness later tonight, possible CAD weakness later tonight. Then with that, have I missed anything? Have I missed anything? No. Okay, good. Now, gold. All right, we spoke about this on Friday. Needs to stay above 2375 to bounce to 2400. Look at what it did. Stayed above 23. Where was it? This was Friday right here. Stayed above, bounced up towards not just 2400, even further to 2450, almost 2450, and came back down, retraced back down slightly. Well, in this case, it looks like it's slightly, right, but it's quite significant. Now, if you took this whole move, all right, I want to clear out some lines. I don't need that many. I don't need that many lines. I'll keep this. I don't need that. I'll keep that. Okay, I don't need this point. Take that away. I'll revise this up to that high. I'll keep this point right here. Okay, which means that I don't need my 23 and I don't need my 50. 61.8 is there. I don't need that as well. And that. Okay. Cleaned up the chart a little bit. You can see that it came down to that 38.2, held on Monday, bounced back up, held again on Tuesday, bounce or holding at that point, could push or most likely going to push up, needs to stay above 2400 to test 2450, straightforward. All right, so it's now at 2417, looking for that to retest 2450. I think that it's likely to, that's bouncing back up a little bit, so it's likely to sit along that. Gold needs to stay above 2400. In fact, needs to stay above 2410 to get to 2450 again. 2410 to retest 2450 again. Right? I do think that it might get even higher than that, but let's get to 2450 and then project to the next level up. Okay, so with all that said, a lot of news, a lot of 5K contract at 2500. Yeah, I do think you get to 2500. Might take a little bit longer. Yeah, it might take a little bit longer to 2500. I think that you might get to 2470, bounce around, retrace, and then push back up again. All right, 2450. Possibly. Okay, so with all that said, please remember, help me out, click that like and subscribe button, join us on Discord, and if you've done all that, share your trade ideas in the Discord channel, and I'll see you all same time, same place, not tomorrow, it is a holiday for me, but I'll see you all back on Thursday. Do take care and trade well. Bye bye now. Thanks everyone.